You're listening to From Imposter to Empowered. I'm your host, Jillian Perrick, life and success coach for boss babes who want to overcome imposter syndrome so they can be their best selves, both in life and in business. Follow me on Instagram at YourCoachJill for free content and daily inspo. Let's get started. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. It's been a minute since I've podcasted. I've been so busy with my group program, Unsure to Untamed, round 1. And it's over next week, and I'm so sad because I love these girls that are in here, and we've experienced such big shifts, and I've learned so much by being their coach. It's my first major group coaching program that I've ever put on. I've had one-on-one clients before, but I've never done like a really intensive group like this, and it was over the span of 10 weeks, so almost 3 months. And yeah, it's been really awesome, and I've had so much fun, and it has made me think that I'm going to offer Unsure to Untamed in the form of a Kajabi course, and then it's going to be a one-on-one program, because one of the things that they kept saying was how much they love the one-to-one aspect, and I see a lot of shifts happen with the one-to-one aspect, and I obviously want to offer that. So that's what's going to happen with Unsure to Untamed, and it's going to be at such a great price point for people who are starting out in their business, and maybe you've been in business for like a year or two, but you really want to know how to leverage that side hustle so you can leave your 9-to-5, so you can eventually shift your mindset into really being that business owner that you want to be and overcome imposter syndrome so you can pitch your services confidently and sign clients confidently. So that's what's been going on here. I'm also developing a journal and a planner combination, which is going to be amazing. I'm working with a graphic designer. And with that being said, make sure you go to the link in the show notes and grab my 30-day journaling prompt workbook. It's totally free. That does make sense. It's totally for free. And it's 30 days of journal prompts where you can really dig deep into your subconscious thoughts and put them on paper and really see your thinking patterns and if there's any latent imposter syndrome or anything there that is really affecting your ability to run your business in a positive and good way in which that you're actually getting clients and you're actually making moves in your business. This journaling workbook is great. And you know what? I've always struggled with knowing what to journal about, and a lot of the time it's nonsense. So this way you can actually have something to journal about with the journal prompts. So today we're going to talk about rejection, and more specifically rejecting yourself before anybody else can. And what I mean by this is when you are going to do something, so let's say you're a coach and you really want to reach out to somebody on Instagram because you see that they really need your help, but you don't want to seem too salesy and you don't want to pitch to them. And then you don't. So you avoid the rejection before it can even happen. And this is because we all want to avoid negative feelings. Avoiding negative feelings means that we are avoiding the shitty ones. Basically, we're avoiding feeling bad because it never feels good to feel bad. And usually when we feel bad, we have negative thoughts. A lot of the time, this means we have negative thoughts about ourselves. So let's say you reach out to somebody and say, hey, I have this one-to-one coaching program. I think this would be great for you. Here's how it would help you solve your problem. And the other person goes, yeah, no, I'm not really interested in that. Thanks though. This has happened to me from experience. And in the beginning, I used to feel really shitty about myself, and then I used to question what I was doing wrong. Was my service good enough? And all these other thoughts that did not make me feel good and really sent me into a downward spiral. So our conditioning tells us that in the future, I'm less likely to do that again because I'm afraid of the possible rejection. But just like anxiety, it lives in the future. And somebody who deals with anxiety or imposter syndrome, or somebody who really gets in their head, is somebody who is constantly dictating the future, or so they think. So they're constantly catastrophizing and catastrophizing. I think I said that right. They're constantly catastrophizing and thinking the worst case scenario. Because, of course, a lot of us entrepreneurs are planners. So to think ahead and think, okay, so if I do this, this is the possible or the probable outcome, but who's to say that we know what's going to happen? A lot of the time we don't. And that's the thing when it comes to rejection, is we're always assuming that it's going to be the worst case scenario. And when it comes to playing small, it's because we are rejecting ourselves before anybody else has the chance to. And this is a very subconscious realization. It's something that people probably don't even realize, but they play small because they're just afraid of that rejection, afraid of that failure. I think I talked about this before, but Brene Brown talks about how she would only send her articles to places that were smaller than like a big newspaper, because she was afraid of being rejected by the bigger newspapers. Because what does that tell us? If we're rejected, it means that we're not good enough. This is what we tell ourselves. It means that we're not good enough, that maybe we're not meant to be in this field. So a lot of entrepreneurs stay in their wheelhouse, and they sometimes like to be a big fish in a little pond because it's safe. It makes them feel comfortable. And that means that they're also playing small because they're not actually going outside of their comfort zone or doing things that would cause them to have to grow and up level, because it would be way worse if they were rejected. Of course, you're not thinking about all the great things that could happen if you reached out to that client, or if you sent a publisher your manuscript. You're not thinking about that. You're thinking about all the shitty things that could happen, because that's naturally where our brain goes. Remember, we talked about our brain that just wants the best for us, so it is estimating risk at such a high level. Its brain is just trying to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us in that comfort zone and keep us in that, okay, we're feeling good, we're feeling great, everything's awesome state, because it can cause a lot of chaos for our brain when it comes to fear. We get that fight or flight response. And when that happens, we have a release of cortisol and all the other things that happen physiologically. But to do these things and to play bigger means that we are exposing ourselves to things that mean that we're not going to die, essentially, because our brain can't distinguish between something physical that's happening to us and something emotional that's happening to us. It's essentially the same thing to our brain. So you need to expose yourself to things that are more scary, because you will learn tolerance and resiliency, and you are showing your brain that you're not going to die. I went to Toastmasters, which is basically a public speaking group, and because I have a speech impediment, it's like literally one of my worst fears is public speaking. Obviously, speaking in general. So, I had to really amp myself up to go in there, because my brain thought I was dying because I was so stressed and so anxious, and it was telling me to turn around and you'll feel so much better if you just turn around. But after I went and I got through it and everything, I felt so much better, and I felt like I had up leveled and that I had grown in certain aspects, and that is what we need to show our brain. And I also want to give you a little trick that will help you when you are about to reject yourself before somebody else can. And it is the looking at the safe option and then looking at the scary option. So let's say you're a newbie coach and you are looking to be on people's podcasts. You could do the safe thing, which is to post on your Instagram stories that, hi, I'm blah, 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 and this is what I do, this is what I coach on, and if anybody's interested in having me on their podcast, send me a DM. So with that safe option, you are telling your brain that you're doing the thing, you're asking to be on somebody's podcast, but you can't do this until you do the scary option, which is looking at podcasts who are within your niche, so different podcasting hosts who have a similar niche as you, a podcast that you would like to be on, and actually sending them a direct message or applying to that singular podcast. It doesn't have to be 10, it can be 1. And then you can also post on your story that you're looking to be on people's podcasts. And the reason why we do this is because we want to scare our brain, but then we also want to provide it comfort. So even though we are doing the scary thing, we're also doing something that feels good to us. And it still feels like a little bit of a leap, especially if you're like really nervous in terms of public speaking, or you feel like you don't have a handle on your niche yet, so it's hard for you to talk about your topic. But that would be an example of using a scary and a safe option. And the kicker is you can't do your safe option until you do the scary one. So at this rate, after you do the scary one, you may not even feel like you need the safe option because you already did the scary one. But with the scary and the safe option, you're not giving yourself the option of just not doing it. It's kind of like when you have a kid and you're asking them in the morning, what do you want to eat? Do you want an apple or an orange? You're giving them an option, and either way, they're going to eat something. So with the scary and the safe option, actually telling yourself, I can't do this safe option until I do the scary one, that will really help you push forward. But if you have at least a safe and a scary option and you go with the safe one, at least you're entertaining the fact that there is a scary option and that you're not just giving up, that you're not just choosing to not do something. Yes, technically you're still playing small by choosing to just say, if anybody wants me to be on their podcast, please let me know, but you're still aware of the fact that you're playing small, and you're still aware of the fact that there is a scary option and that there are possibilities that come from that scary option. So let me know how you do the safe and the scary option for yourself. I do this with my business, and it's amazing being able to just weigh the options. And whenever I put the two together, like the scary and the safe option, I always opt to do the scary one because I'm an overachiever and a perfectionist at heart. So I always want to reach as high as I possibly can. And I know that a lot of entrepreneurs are like this as well. So when you have these two options, I guarantee you will start going for the scary one, and it will reward you every single time. Okay, so I hope you guys have a really great week, whatever day it is. I don't freaking know. I think it's Tuesday. And I hope you guys loved this episode. And don't forget to grab those journal prompts, the 30-day journaling workbook. It's free. I'm going to put it in my show notes here. Perfect for the side hustler who wants to overcome imposter syndrome and really get down their subconscious thoughts so they can start to be their best selves, both in life and in business. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of From Imposter to Empowered with me, Jillian Perrick, life and success coach for boss babes who want to overcome imposter syndrome. You can find me on Instagram at yourcoachjill, and for information on my services and any freebies, you can go to www.northernresolutions.com. See you next time.